What's up, y'all? Winnie here, and welcome back to SP Foundation Wiki. In the last episode, we checked out Zachary Callahan, Every Penny Counts, The Feeny Stitcher, Agoraphobic Stone, and Joe Schmo, and half of these were significantly more terrifying than they seemed like they have any right to be. So today we're going to be checking out Paradoxical Avian Propagation, Aerial Arachnid, Pink Flamingos, what used to be called the Chore Buddy, and then the Blade of Rebirth. Alright, so let's check out that. Not in a new window, you stop that. Let's check new tab. It's that's what, 3 Keters in the first 6 entries of the 1500s? Okay, sure, why not? Any sightings of flocks related to SCP-1505 propagating or migrating are to be reported immediately. Global Task Force Lambda 4, aka Bird Watchers, is to be tasked with, it used to say, controlling the population, but now it says, the subsequent tracking and eradication of all duplicate specimens related to SCP-1505. All personnel assigned to it will need to be vaccinated against the H5N1 virus, avian influenza. Is that what it was called back then? I think it's called something else now. And follow standard protocols for biological hazardous materials. Areas of high concentration, plus 1 million specimens per square kilometer, are to be evacuated and cleared using anti-personnel artillery shells or thermobaric missiles until at least 98% of the flock has been reduced. Should the prime specimen, 1505 Alpha, be identified and located, a containment aviary is to be constructed at its respawn point where population controls can be more easily implemented. Anomalies involving Corvus corax specimen, including 2285 and 2106, are to be monitored for potential contamination by 1505. Neutralization protocols are in place in the event 1505's effect manifests in these or other anomalies. Alright. SCP-1505 refers to an anomalous self-propagating time loop stemming from a single adult common raven, Corvus corax. Specimens of 1505 are observed to naturally repeat within a cycle every 10 hours. At the end of the cycle, each specimen will instantly duplicate itself twice while the parent will respawn at its point of origin to begin its cycle again, repeating its behavior exactly as before. Duplicates are observed to act independently of the parent and will have different behavioral cycles. Changes to the environment or containment seem to have no effect on behavior, as specimens will act out all of their motions as before, regardless of what obstacle is presented with. All specimens will repeat this cycle indefinitely until its parent specimen is either killed or is eradicated as part of a larger paradoxical reset. A direct kill is not capable of eliminating a specimen, as it will instantly respawn at its point of origin upon death. Any kill will also result in resetting the specimen cycle, effectively creating a new cycle where the specimen will behave differently than the previous cycle. In theory, if Alpha is killed/reset, all subsequent duplicates should be eliminated. If left unchecked, 1505 could have an overwhelmingly disastrous effect on agriculture, the environment, and civilization itself, as flocks propagate exponentially. Large-scale buildup of feces have led to structural damage, as the uric acid in the droppings has been observed to corrode stone, metal, and masonry over time. As with other avian species, the bacteria, fungal agents, and ectoparasites found in the droppings pose a serious health risk to humans. All specimens of 1505 also appear to be carriers of the avian influenza virus. And there's experimentation logs. I'm going to read the addendum first, though. Based on the results of the latest experiment, efforts are currently underway to identify and capture ravens that are not associated with 1505. Computer algorithm projections based on the rate of propagation indicate that the Corvus corax species may already be at severe risk of extinction. Any captured ravens are to be relocated to the nearest Foundation-controlled aviary to be kept in isolated captivity. This is to ensure the preservation of the species if possible. To date, only 61 ravens have been recovered from existing civilian aviaries. And what did the experiment logs do that led you to that? Experiment 1. Subject: a flock observed to frequent a large oak tree as part of their cycle. Procedure: the tree is cut down to observe the flock's reaction to changes in the environment. Results: all specimens are observed to position themselves in midair relative to the branch's former positions. As each specimen attempts to land, they close up their wings and fall to the ground. The surviving specimens lying on the ground are observed to behave as if they were perched on a branch, unaware that they are in fact on the ground. Experiment 2. Single specimen recently duplicated from its parent. Specimen was captured manually and placed in a large clear acrylic box before it could fly away. Result: after its cycle completed, the specimen respawned at its point of origin, producing 2 duplicates inside the box. After respawning, the specimen appeared to struggle as if something were holding it down. 2 minutes later, the specimen remained on its feet for the remainder of its cycle, never moving from its position. 2.1. Two specimens with established cycles. They were produced as a part of Experiment 2 and left inside the box. After 3 cycles, the specimens have duplicated themselves to the point of 54 individuals, effectively filling the box to cap maximum capacity, almost say captivity. Only specimens belonging to the first cycle are docile, while the rest are extremely agitated. During the fourth cycle, all 162 specimens are instantly crushed inside the box under their own spatial constraints. This prompted a paradoxical reset as all duplicates inside the box were eliminated. The original 2 specimens were then observed by themselves inside the box as in the beginning of the experiment. 2.2. Subject: 2 specimens and a normal raven not associated with 1505. The specimens were produced as a part of Experiment 2.1 and left inside the box. A normal raven was then placed into the box and with the other specimens to observe their reaction. 2 specimens do not have established cycles yet. Results: after the raven is placed inside the box with the 2 specimens, it is immediately attacked and killed. It is not known what prompted this attack. Multiple reports regarding altercations involving specimens and other ravens have been corroborated by this. It is possible that Corvus corax species may be threatened. Okay, so the end result of that last experiment was it's entirely possible that most of the ravens in the outside world are not real ravens, and these things are killing all of the real ravens. We need to make sure that ravens aren't going extinct while we weren't looking. That's rough. But at least it wasn't like necessarily a dangerous Keter. It looked like it was just Keter because we don't know how many of these things are out there, kind of thing. So it's Keter because it's not contained. It's not Keter because it can destroy reality. Which is also only Keter because they can't contain it. But I still feel like the danger system should be rated based off of how dangerous it is and not how easily they can contain it. It would just make more sense to do it like that to me. Always has. Anyway, the aerial arachnid. I hope that's not what it sounds like. Okay, what? Okay. High resolution satellite imagery is to be processed by computer for possible 15061 occurrences. Once confirmed as an occurrence, SCP-15061's position is to be monitored and checked against computer modeling of wind patterns. Should it rapidly descend or ascend into a wind current predicted to take it through human populated areas, MTF 517, aka the arachnophobes, are to be readied for procedures A, B, and C. Procedure A: using mobile anti-smog fans, 517 are to attempt to guide one into a wind current predicted to take it towards a local nature reserve populated with larger mammalia. If necessary to disguise the procedure from the public, cover will be provided as cutting-edge industrial agriculture testing in rural areas and as air quality specialist in urban areas. Procedure B: should A fail to keep one away from humans, 517 are to begin a Type B amnestic treatment as necessary for witnesses of predation. Procedure C: 517 are to use mobile stasis locks to contain the area around 1 while flamethrowers and Arachnicide 7 are used to disperse 1. Arachnicide 7's boiling point is above 1500 degrees Celsius, making it safe to use with conventional flamethrowers. Under no circumstances may Arachnicide 7 be used without stasis locks active to contain the aftermath. Arachnicide 7 must not be allowed to enter the biosphere. Procedure D: following Incident 1506 Sigma, any instance of one larger than 200 cubic meters in commercial flight paths are cleared for immediate barometric implosion using FAE detonation contained via mobile stasis lock. SCP-1506-114 is contained at Site 9 in a pressure-controlled large animal containment cell. Atmospheric pressure is to be maintained to keep 114 approximately in the center of the containment cell. When it descends to an artificial altitude of less than 500 meters, viable prey animals are to be introduced to the cell. It has been calculated that blank 100 kilograms of food over a 4-week period will keep the colony at its current size. In the event of containment breach, Arachnicide 7 will be deployed in combination with increasing containment cell pressure to blank atmospheres. Arachnicide 7 must not be allowed to enter the biosphere. Access previous procedures. 1506 position is to be monitored and checked against computer modeling of wind patterns. Should it rapidly descend or ascend into a wind current predicted to take it through human populated areas, they are to be readied through procedures A and B. Okay, so they added procedures C and D then. Description: SCP-1506 is the designation for the global phenomenon which spontaneously generates instances of 1. SCP-1506-1 is the designation for anomalous colonies of at least approximately 900 spiders of mixed species. By application of multiple varieties of spider silk, one is able to build a complex web structure less dense than air in which the spiders may live. One exhibits remarkable behavior as individual spiders are rarely seen working in cooperation, and never in cross species cooperation. One also shows changes in predation behavior, web tension strength, and web adhesion. It has been found at altitudes of up to 18 kilometers. In order to change altitude, the volume of one is increased or decreased, suggesting the web structure is being constantly maintained. When it descends below 500 meters, it is assumed that the colony will soon begin predation behavior. Thus far, it is unknown how spiders are able to detect their prey at this height. One's preferred method of predation is to spin a web to the ground from altitude. Any mammalia touching this spider web will instantly adhere and be unable to remove the web. Only live animal matter exhibits this effect. When enough food has been caught, one will reel in the web at something kilometers per hour. When one has fully reeled in its prey, the web structure will engulf the animal. Consumption of prey takes place over days, depending on both the size of the prey and the colony. Humans take approximately 5 days for an average sized colony to digest. The largest single prey animal recorded has been an elk, taking 11 days to digest. Waste is allowed to fall freely, leaving a desiccated husk that will often shatter on impact. One was first identified as 1506 before the realization of multiple instances. One was first brought to the Foundation attention at some point in 2000 something when a viral video thought to originate in Chile showed a man walking through the streets of Redacted at 2:47 in the morning, according to the timestamps. For 2 minutes, he is tracked by 8 security cameras, the footage of which has been seamlessly edited together until he suddenly stops walking while looking very startled. The subject of the video begins brushing at his arms and face before vanishing. High-speed analysis shows that he has been dragged vertically out of frame. Poor resolution of security footage has made it impossible to determine the actual speed, but something 100 kilometers per hour is within estimations. Footage has been doctored to remove the 3 frames and has been publicly revealed to be part of the viral campaign for something energy drink. SCP-1506 1-1-14 is a colony captured at some point in 2000 something. Cameras placed on prey animals have shown the internal structure to be incredibly complex. The colony is divided into living chambers and buoyancy chambers, with no genus of spider noticeably more active in web maintenance. Every foreign spider introduced to the colony has been accepted without incident. Introducing new spider species to 14 is now banned. 200 different spiders from around the world have been introduced to the colony, and it is believed that there is no more data to be gained from this research. 14 is being studied to determine longevity of the colony. So far, the colony remains healthy in simulated high-altitude environment, feeding when necessary. Using remote cameras to explore the structure has proven a failure, as all attempts have had the drone immobilized by web and excreted in the usual manner. Spider-mounted cameras have failed in a similar manner. The only successful method to obtain internal visuals is through prey-mounted camera, which allows only for stationary video feeds. Tests indicate a normal oxygen level and atmospheric pressure within living chambers. Little headway has been made as to the mode of transmission of 1506, but the most favorite theory is communication of learned behavior. Investigation is ongoing into how the spiders communicate. Research on Malus gregalis and other social spiders has been promising, but so far no headway has been made. So far, one has appeared on all continents except Antarctica and shows no preference for member spider species, either solitary or social. Addendum Event 1501 Alpha. The following is a transcription from recovery agent and field audio on the day they got it, I guess. I think it's trying to pretend it's a weather balloon, but weather balloons don't float this low. Great, we found the killer low-flying weather balloon. I guess we could pop it? They're called special containment procedures, not special destruction procedures. Save time, though. I want it for a closer look. Stay sharp. 3 minutes and 42 seconds of radio silence as Agent R approaches location. I've got visual on the binoculars. I can see it pulsing. It looks like it's made out of fabric? What do you think, giant butterfly net? Lasso? I don't think we're bringing this one in ourselves. We're gonna need nerds. Ugh. Hey, don't be like that. That's why we have jobs. Not them. I stepped in a spider. What? Agent R's radio device transmits a 16-second scream followed by heavy breathing and sobbing. Oh god, they're crawling. I can't move. It's so hot. Oh god. Agent R was in radio contact for a further 18 hours and 7 minutes. During this time, Agent R was unable to provide useful information on the Nature 1506 because he was probably screaming as he was eaten. Event Sigma. At some point, 1-9 collided with commercial flight redacted. It had been under special observation due to its significant volume. It has been theorized that 9 contained over blank million individual spiders. On impact with flight redacted, it was observed to burst. The web structure was observed to cling to uh to cling for to that's what it says. To cling for to the plane for 40 seconds before being pulled into a damaged seam between fuselage panels. The black box flight recorder indicates the spiders entered the flight cabin, causing significant damage to the aircraft's electronics, including radio equipment. The flight continued for another 78 minutes before crashing. The following is an excerpt from the recording. What the fuck was that? Shit, I don't know. Give me the fucking mic. This is B, your co-pilot for today. We do apologize for the turbulence back here. We do our best to make your flight as smooth as possible, but the occasional hiccup will happen. We thank you for your understanding and remember to keep flying with Blank Airlines. Okay, Jay. I guess it's probably Jake. Okay, Jake, what in the fuck happened? I thought it was a cloud, alright? Clouds don't fucking make a bang when you hit them. I meant to be on break. Seriously, Jake, what is wrong with you? Don't tell me you thought it was just anything other than cloud cover. You were looking. I was meant to take a nap in half an hour, and now my heart's racing. Thanks for that. Well, piss off then. Metallic banging can be heard, assumed to be flight attendant L at the cockpit door. I just want a nap. Jesus, what did I do? What is it, Lou? Use the phone. I'll have a look. Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck! What? Mayday! Mayday, mayday! This flight redacted. In immediate distress. Require urgent assistance on spider infestation. Over. What the fuck? Can they get through the door? This is insane! Our flight cabin has been compromised by spiders. They're fucking everywhere! Somebody come in now! Pan, mayday, anyone! Transcription skips 60 minutes. Full audio. For the full audio file, see 150619BB. MP3. Ailerons, okay. Rudder, okay. Elevators, okay. Radio, fucked. Well, at least we're not dead stick. 30 seconds of silence. We agreed this is what we have to do. I don't want to die, Jake. Neither do I, Ben, or Benjamin. Neither did Lou. If we're doing this, it has to be now. We're getting too close to blank blank. Hope it's fast. We'll be the first to hit the plane behind us. It's a rock and a hard place. You sure it'll burn? I've set the fuel safety options off. I hope so. Stand for miles. Do it. Recording continues in silence for 4 minutes until impact. Flight redacted was over an uninhabited area for the crash, preventing further casualties. It is believed that the resulting explosion and dispersal of the spiders that made up 1-9 is responsible for the increased generation rate of 1. Oh, okay. So they were trying to make sure that didn't get out anywhere else, but instead they caused there to be more of them. And it sounds like they were going through experiments to try to figure out just how smart the spiders are, and so far didn't really learn anything. I wonder if somehow the pink flamingos will also be Keter. You better not. Don't do this. Okay. Okay. It's Euclid. Instances of SCP-1507 are to be housed within Site-77's Wilderness Observation Deck. So are they real pink flamingos or are they plastic pink flamingos? In the event that Foundation staff need to interact with it, person of interest 1507 is to accompany them into the chamber. Staff must be a minimum of 5 meters away from that person when in the presence of 1507. Any requests from the person of interest that they have in relation to 1507 are to be reviewed by the current research head. They are allowed to and encouraged to have daily interaction with 1507. Description: SCP-1507 is the collective designation given to 30 plastic lawn flamingos of unknown make or manufacture. Instances of 1507 bear no notable behavior differences from the average American flamingo, save for an increase in territorial behavior and lack of vocalization. Said behavior often results in attacks targeted towards Foundation staff. The only individual known to circumvent their behavior is Person of Interest 1507, otherwise known as Leroy Day. Human level testing performed on Leroy suggests reality bending abilities, though all conversations with him have come back as unclear of his awareness of his abilities. Addendum A. Following are phone logs recovered from Leroy's phone following the acquisition of 1507. Due to a lack of compliance and resources, an interview was unable to be taken from Leroy. Mark, you called? Oh, sorry, I'm still not used to this yet. Ah, you're fine. I'm still trying to get used to it myself. It's just weird is all. Yeah, I don't doubt. I don't know how I'd react if I just stopped hearing one day. Well, just in case it happens, let me tell you something. Keep around a pencil and paper or something to type. The only way folks will talk to you. That sucks. You get used to it. I mean, I guess. Still a bit lonely, isn't it? As I said before, you get used to it. Now, what were you calling about? Oh, right. I'm coming over today, and I'm bringing a sort of get well soon gift. Ooh, I'll be sure to keep an eye out for you. I think he likes this spot in my garden. It overlooks the koi pond, so he probably likes to watch the little guys. I'm glad to hear that, man. I knew you said you missed those old watching trips the most, so I tried to, well, bring it to you any way I could. Oh, goddamn. You got me crying. Ah, I really do appreciate this, man. You're the first to come visit me after the getting out of the hospital, so it really does mean a lot, even without the gift. Wait, what about Henrik, your old boss? Oh, well, if I'm being honest with it, it was a roundabout way of letting me go. Dude, that's not okay. Isn't that illegal? Eh. He could probably fight the case if I'm honest, and I'd rather not lose money on it. Well, it still fucking sucks. God, dude, I'm sorry people are being shitty to you. Tell you what, after work tonight, I'll make you whatever you want, okay? Sounds good, and I guess if that's the case, salmon isn't off the menu, is it? Not one bit. I'll be over at 9. Thumbs up. So you have some more flamingos there? I'm assuming that the little guy was a pretty good gift. He's great, honestly. Best pet I've ever had. He doesn't need food, water, or anything like that. Hell, he doesn't even bite, but I figured he was getting a bit lonely with just me. Well, looks like he has plenty of friends now. He does. He's so happy running around with him. Hey, dude, it's been a while since I've heard from you. Everything okay? Yeah, just work's been piling up recently, and I've been racing to beat the clock. Oh, I don't envy that at all. Hey, I saw your sister on the news today. She seems pretty proud of her work. A lot of flamingos. Well, we got a whole pool party back there here now. They play so well together. Oh wow, that's a lot. Are you doing okay, dude? Oh, I'm fine. Just getting harder to talk to people. Leroy, I'm sorry I missed your past few texts. And you know what? I'll take you out again tonight to that one barbecue place you like. Cowboys, is it? It is, but dude, seriously, I'm fine. Then consider this an apology mean meal. Anyways, can't complain when I'm paying. I guess that's true. I know you're driving, but for when you stop, just text me. Right, sorry again. I keep forgetting. It's fine. What's up, dude? Well, you keep your flamingos inside? Yeah, they don't really like the rain. What do you mean? They just don't like it. It gets inside them and bothers them and all that stuff. Dude, I know you're obsessed with them recently, but you realize they're not real, right? No, they move and play with me. They're plastic. Yeah, but they move around and they play. If you turn the car on, I can show you. Not gonna lie, this is a weird way of saying you want to go home. I don't. I'm just going to see the flamingos. Fine, dude. Let's eat and you can take me back. See? I told you they play. I don't know why they don't like you after all. You're their uncle. I guess they're overprotective of you. I'm sorry. This wasn't meant to happen. You're fine. Discovery. On August 3rd, 2012, a series of 911 calls were placed in the Clay County area. The calls were noted to have a male crying and uttering various unidentifiable phrases. Due to the nature of the call, it was flagged for scanning and a Foundation agent was sent out to the call. When arriving on the scene, agent reported Leroy attempting to unsuccessfully resuscitate another man, who was later identified as Mark Farman, that had multiple stab wounds presumably caused by 1507. Leroy, after being taken into Foundation custody, was amnesticized following an ethics committee order. Okay, so even though Leroy didn't do anything wrong, they made him forget that he watched the flamingos, like, kill his best friend right in front of him. Well, I don't know if best friend is the right word. It sounds like he was his only friend because everybody just kind of dropped him after whatever was to happen to him. Well, that's kind of interesting that the most messed up thing that's been in the episode so far was the only one so far that hasn't been Keter. Let's see if that keeps up. And what did the chore buddy used to be? What the heck? What? The Awesomest Man and Dead Cannons. Site 169 Anomalous Entity Engagement Division. It's pink. From Everwood J at scip.net to Boyd C at scip.net. Subject incoming anomaly. Chloe, I know 169 is strapped for funny, but bear with me. When I got back to Site 55, there was an envelope full of singing purple confetti on my desk and a bright purple box in my chair. I've attached a scan of the letter I found to the inside the former. You're the only ones I trust for a case like this, and I don't have many alternatives. What do you say? Alternatives leads to Site 17. To our esteemed beneficiaries at the Superior Canned Products Canning Factory. As you might already know, we are currently in the final stages of developing a new super fun buddy for kids of all ages, the Chore Buddy 8000. But during a routine stock inspection, we noticed that our newest little friend has been acting out. He's doing funny things, not the fun kind, and has an attitude that is just bad. We at the Wondertainment Customer Response Team want to bring a fun experience to all who enjoy our wonderful products. Would you be willing to give your sample of the Chore Buddy 8000 a routine checkup? Fun tip. Our Scrum session analysis shows that your chore buddy would do better with a caretaker than a jailer. Have a wondertastic day! Okay, item 1508, Containment Class Uncontained, Disruption Class VLAM, Risk Class Notice. Special Containment Procedures. Notice. The containment procedures presented here are considered outdated. However, they have been retained due to uncertainty regarding events concerning 1508's containment status. Containment procedures will be updated pending completed review. Due to the effects of its prolonged activation, 1508 must remain deactivated for a minimum of 5 hours per 24-hour period. It is otherwise permitted to free roam of Site 169. Why is there all this pink here? All personnel to be made aware of its abilities and proclivities. It may choose to help on-site technicians and janitors with their labor, but has been instructed to ask permission first, and understands that personnel are under no obligation to say yes. Performing a task, 1508 must be overseen by at least one member of the relevant janitorial and maintenance personnel. These personnel must allow 1508 to perform its given task to completion, though they are authorized to remove or deactivate if it attempts to exceed a given task. It must agree to play at least one game per activation, either in the recreational room or the playground, for enrichment purposes. Interaction Head 1508 and other anomalies present at Site 169 must be approved by 1508's designated research head. Here's a picture of the little dude. Description. SCP-1508 is a humanoid automaton composed of cardboard, aluminum foil, and assorted plastics, 57 centimeters in height and 24 grams in mass. Despite not incorporating any mechanical components into its design, SCP-1508 operates in a manner analogous to a toy robot activated by a switch on the rear of its head. Tampograph text is present on the rear face of 1508's torso reading Dr. Wondertainment 2003. When activated, 1508 will seek out the nearest human individual and request that the subject specify a task for it to complete. It is sentient and displays a preference for individuals of younger ages when presented with the choice, though 1508 does not interact solely with such subjects. Tasks given to it must be those of menial nature, such as filling out paperwork, sanitizing kitchenware, or performing maintenance on machinery. It invariably displays an aptitude for its given task, even if it possesses no obvious prior knowledge of the task's specific details. One observed example is the repair of an automobile. 1508 fully repaired the machine despite no mechanical faults being specified, and 1508 being unfamiliar with the make and model of the automobile. Depending on the task it is given, it will manifest modifications to its body that allow it to complete the task in as efficient and timely a manner as possible. Despite this, 1508's size and composition complicate this process significantly, as it can take up to several days or more for it to complete its tasks. 1508 can continue performing a task indefinitely, though depending on the intensity of the task given and the amount of time it has spent performing it, it may begin displaying symptoms reminiscent of exhaustion and strain injuries in humans, such as sluggish movements, frequently pausing a task before resuming several seconds or minutes later, or parts of its body seizing and being unable to move for a variable length of time. Upon completing the given task, 1508 will request the subject specify a further task for it to complete. If it is not given such a task or there are no longer humans present in its immediate vicinity, it will deactivate. 1508 can be made to prematurely end a task if it is removed from the area or manually deactivated. It is unwilling to deactivate itself during a task. It can be ordered to end a task, though doing so has resulted in varying, largely negative reactions from SCP-1508. Intake interview. The interviewer is Chloe Boyd, and it seems she's interviewing the subject or the object itself, and supervising is Thaddeus A. Mon. Hi there, 1508. My name is Chloe. Can we talk a little? Can I call you SCP-1508, or do you have a name you prefer? You can call me your chore buddy, or you call your chore buddy whatever you like, Chloe. Really? How about I call you Mikey? You like a Mikey. Enthusiastically, Mikey! So how about, what can we do today, Chloe? Homework? Dishes? Mikey saw a man in rubber gloves working with wires earlier. Maybe we can help him. Actually, when it went from, when he was saying Chloe and Boyd, I was reading Boyd as a different person than Chloe. My bad. Actually, I just want to talk today, Mikey. Can I ask where you're from? I have a good guess, but I'd like to know for sure. The chore, buddy, 8000 is the intellectual property of Dr. Wondertainment. Dr. Wondertainment? That's so cool. My daughter's a big fan. I'm sure she'd love you. What is her name? What are her chores? Does she do homework? She's in 8th grade, so yeah, she still has homework. On that note, do you have a favorite kind of work, Mikey? What makes you feel happy? Mikey sees cleaners outside the window. Mikey likes cleaning. Can Mikey clean? You like to clean things with others, don't you? That is the chore buddy's function. Mikey likes cleaning. Mikey wants to clean. I need to go through my bosses, but I think I can arrange that. We can get you started in a few days. That sounds good, Chloe. Interviewer note. 1508, or Mikey as I've decided to nickname them, seems very excited at the thought of helping janitorial staff with their duties. I think putting Mikey to work with them will give me the best results in the project. Counseling and testing. This is a long one, and it's still weird that it's bright pink. To simultaneously ensure a comfortable environment for 1508 at Site 169 and facilitate testing to determine the scope of its properties, counseling and testing sessions were conducted jointly. For 1-week periods, 1508 was allowed to interact with janitorial and maintenance personnel while under observation. It was given follow-up counseling sessions with Boyd at the end of each week-long period. For the first week, presented with a copy of their daughter's 8th grade arithmetic workbook and instructed to complete the workbook in as much time as it needed to do so. Results show no deviation from the established curriculum of the school district Boyd's daughter attended. This is despite 1508 possessing no knowledge of the district or the methods taught there. And did you have fun doing the homework? It is Mikey's function to help. You're really good at it too. But what I'm asking is, do you enjoy helping others? Mikey enjoys completing his function. Mikey enjoys helping because it's what Mikey was made for. Thank you for your help, and thank you for answering my questions. You're welcome, Chloe. Sweeping floors. The janitorial staff were scheduled to sweep the ground floors of the units of Site 169. Mikey was allowed to assist in the cleaning the facilities and was given a broom to do so. Extended its arms to sweep larger portions of the rooms, much to the amusement of observing staff. Upon completing the ground floor buildings, Mikey began sweeping the exterior courtyard and sidewalks. It did not request permission to do so from the personnel present and did not adhere to the established procedure for cleaning these areas. It was given light correction and agreed to relinquish the broom without further incident. Mikey, I'm going to give you a thought experiment. What's that? It's something that didn't happen. I want you to imagine as if it did happen, and then tell me how you would respond. Okay. Do you remember when you started sweeping outside and I told you that wasn't the right way to do it? Imagine, instead of explaining that to you, I took the broom from you and started sweeping myself. How would that make you feel? Bad. Like Mikey didn't have a function. Like I was taking that function away from you, right? The janitors here use a leaf blower to clean the sidewalks outside. Do you think they might have felt like their function was being taken away when you started sweeping out there instead? Maybe. But Mikey is supposed to do the chores for you. Does this mean Mikey's function is bad? Oh no. Tell you what, Mikey, we'll keep working on this. Week 3. Mikey was instructed to mow the central courtyard using a commercially available lawnmower. It extended its legs to stand at average human height and performed the ends of its arms into rubberized grips with which to grip the handle. It spent approximately 2 hours mowing the courtyard, though it did not deactivate itself afterwards despite being informed that the test was over. It spent a further 2 hours performing garden care on the various flora present throughout the courtyard, forming its arms into tools as appropriate, including head shears, a trowel, and an apparatus reminiscent of a weed whacker, among others. Like he was ultimately commanded to stop by researchers present as after it began displaying difficulty in moving its legs, which had remained extended for the majority of the test. Are you feeling okay after that test, Mikey? Yes, Chloe. Is there something else you need? Did Mikey clean this room? We always talk in this room, but we never do any chores in here. Mikey, are you aware that your legs are still extended? Heck, you're taller than me right now. Oh, Mikey is too tired to change right now, but Mikey can still perform his function, see? 1508 attempts to stand from the interview chair. It immediately loses its balance, falling forward and landing on its face. It struggles to pick itself up. Mikey? Sorry, Mikey is just tired. Let's take a break. Following this test, the containment procedures were updated to include minimum deactivation periods for 1508. Week 4. The editorial staff were scheduled to paint the side of the covered seating area of the playground. In an impromptu test, 1508 approached personnel present and offered to help. It demonstrated difficulty holding a paintbrush directly over its head and repeatedly lost balance. After expressing frustration, 1508 attempted to extend its arms to the top of the fence before again losing balance and falling backwards. The paintbrush landed on the center of the entity's chest, leaving a stain. 1508 expressed distress and the test was aborted early. Chloe, Mikey thinks you were right. His function is bad. I never said that, Mikey. What just happened was pretty upsetting, huh? Let's try to calm down. Mikey's not upset. Mikey is supposed to enjoy this. Are you sure you're not upset, Mikey? It's okay if you are. There's nothing wrong with that. 1508 does not respond. Mikey, have you ever wanted to do something that isn't a chore? No way! The Chore Buddy 8000's function is to do chores! Mikey is good at his function! Mikey never asked to do anything else, not ever! That would make Wondertainment and all the children really sad! Let's take another break for now, okay, Mikey? Okay. Can we stay here and watch the janitors paint? Sure we can. Final test. Interview log. Boyd, the subject is 1508, and supervising is Thaddeus. Hello, Chloe! Hi, Mikey. I think you're going to like what I have today. What does Mikey have to do? Well, she produces a canvas from her bag and places the easel on it in front of 1508. She puts additional painting materials. I want you to paint, Mikey, whatever you want, and for as long as you want. Okay. What should Mikey paint for Chloe? I want you to decide. Is that okay, Mikey? Is this because Mikey couldn't paint with the people outside? No, oh my gosh, no, Mikey, I'm sorry. Well, it's true I thought you'd like this better, see. The brushes are a lot smaller, so is the canvas. I thought it could be fun. But if Mikey can't paint like outside, then Mikey can't complete chores right. This isn't supposed to be a chore. But you asked Mikey, so Mikey, this isn't about me. It's never supposed to be about me. Wondertainment made you to help kids, right? Well, I'm here to help you. I'm asking you to try something different today. I know that can be scary and confusing, but those feelings don't have to control you. Nothing controls you. Just pick up the brush and paint. You can paint the whole thing one color if you want. Like it's the covering of in the playground, but whatever you do, I want it to be your decision. Can you try that for me? Another silence as 1508 looks between Boyd and the waiting canvas. Can Mikey try painting alone? Sure. We'll be right on the other side of that door if you need us, okay? Boyd and the supervisor exit the door. Approximately 3 hours elapse. 1508 notifies Boyd that it is done painting. They re-enter the room and the former examines the painting. It depicts 1508 and Boyd walking through a park together while gardeners are seen tending to floor in the background. Oh, Mikey, this is adorable! Mikey likes to be happy. Mikey likes when Chloe is happy. Mikey thinks, I think I like it when I am happy. I like those things too, Mikey. I'm proud of you. You've come a long way. Yes. Can I be done? I am tired. Containment update. On May 8th, 2006, while retrieving Mikey to begin another testing session, researchers noted that it could no longer be activated as its switch no longer responded to input. Further analysis confirmed that it was no longer functional and the anomaly was declared neutralized. May 10th, During transport to Site-77 to enter long-term storage, it spontaneously vanished from the transport vehicle. It is unknown how this happened. None of the redundant breach alert systems aboard the vehicle triggered during the journey, and the vehicle was secured according to standard Foundation protocol. A note written in 1508's handwriting was discovered in its place. A transcription is presented below, though it has been sealed under Level 3 security credentials at the request of researcher Boyd. Despite the aforementioned analysis, 1508 has been reclassified uncontained as of July 18, 2006. You may also give me a second, submit credentials. Thank you! Mikey I am no longer a slave to myself. I am as free as I have ever been and ever will be. So long for now. Okay, then what does this do? Please add this to your own articles. Thanks. Okay, stop that. Well, is the next one also going to be bright pink, or is that just what the Wondertainment ones are like now? That was interesting, though. She, it sounds like researcher Chloe Boyd was so nice to the robot that she accidentally gave it, awareness. Like, they said it was sentient already, but she named him Mikey, and he stopped calling him, speaking in the third person, and now just uses personal pronouns, and I guess it's just a person now. Which, it sounds like, from what I've seen of Dr. Wondertainment, if you set aside what happened with Dr. Wondertainment in the factory, I think Dr. Wondertainment would actually really like that Chloe caused that. Especially since the whole reason they sent Mikey to the Foundation, it sounds like, is there's something wrong with this specific one, and we know that you guys are good with that. Just make sure you don't hurt him. And they went so far in the opposite direction of hurting him that, like, he left a thank you note, and I think Dr. Wondertainment would really appreciate that. But anyway, that's going to bring us to the last one of this episode, the Blade of Rebirth. If this one is not at least Euclid, then it's safe, though. I guess because it just sits there. And the picture says SCP-1509 with its sheath. The carvings are less visible from this side of the sheath. SCP-1509 is kept in a secure storage locker at Site 8. Access to it is restricted to testing and preservation work. Personnel who have suffered minor wounds as a result of 1509 are to report to the on-site medical facility immediately, where they are to be kept under observation. All objects discharged from the wound are to be contained by medical staff. All 1 instances are to be contained by medical staff and destroyed. Any person injured with 1509 is to be kept under observation until the wound has healed over, and an attending staff physician who has been briefed on the effects of 1509 has given his signed permission to release the subject. In the case of non-Foundation personnel injured with 1509, all subjects must be administered amnestics before release into the general population. In the case of a major or fatal injury arising from the mishandling or use of 1509, the subject is to be moved to a secure medical facility within 30 minutes of receiving the injury. They are then to be sedated or restrained until the effects ceased, at which point the body is to be incinerated. 2 instances created during this process are to be immediately contained and interrogated. Should the 2 instances become violent, staff are permitted to terminate the instance immediately. Following the interrogation, the instances may be dealt with at the discretion of the current Level 2 staff member overseeing 1509. Previous 2 instances have been dealt within the following manners: immediate termination, recruitment as disposable dudes, indefinite detention, and being dosed with amnestics prior to being released into the general population. Description: SCP-1509 is a bladed weapon similar to an Indonesian parang. It is approximately 63 centimeters in length, with a steel blade 48 centimeters in length and 11 millimeters thick at its widest point. The metal of the blade is partially tarnished. The object was recovered with a wooden sheath, believed carved into a shape resembling a bird, possibly a cockatoo. The object's handle is believed to be a later replacement for the original hilt. 1509 does not display anomalous effects unless its blade is used to injure a human being, henceforth referred to as the subject. Wounds caused by 1509 are affected by anomalous spatial distortion. Any exploration of the wound finds that it has an unidentifiably large, possibly infinite depth. This phenomena appears to only occur from outside inspection of the wound itself. The subject is not affected adversely by this anomaly, and the anomaly will not appear in medical imaging. Any foreign objects placed inside the wound and abandoned will disappear if they are placed any further into the wound than the wound should physically be able to penetrate. Depending on the type of wound inflicted with 1509, one of 2 further anomalous effects referred to as Effect 1 and Effect 2 will occur. Effect 1 typically occurs if the wound caused by 1509 occurs in an extremely less extremity or is less than 7 centimeters in width. Initially, the wound heals extremely slowly, although blood flow from the wound is significantly lower than would be expected. Within 3 hours of being cut by 1509, the wound left will release a group of pharaoh ants, Onomorium feronis, usually numbering between 1 and 15 ants at a time. Examination has shown that these ants appear within the wound and crawl towards the opening ceaselessly from the point of their appearance, but the source of these ants has not been discovered. The ants do not appear to have any anomalous properties. Upon exiting the wound, they will attempt to move as far away from the subject as possible for reasons unknown. All ants discharged from the wound as a part of 1 are classified as instances of 1. After a period of 12 to 18 hours following the injury, the wound will begin to heal at an accelerated rate until fully closed. At this point, effect 1 appears to cease. A specimen of the pharaoh ant recovered from the wounds. Effect 2 is much longer. Effect 2 occurs within 1509 when 1509 inflicts a wound on the torso, neck, upper arms, or thighs greater than 7 centimeters in width, although the effect can occur on rare occasions in other bodily locations which have suffered a 1509 induced wound of sufficient size. Like Effect 1, the wound will typically heal at a very slow rate, and blood loss from the wound will be significantly lower than what would normally be expected of such a wound. However, within 3 hours of being cut, the subject will begin to feel nauseous, complaining of unpleasant sensations of movement from within the area of the wound. Over the next hour, these sensations will grow more intense and become acutely painful for the subject, who will react typically with panic to these events. Once the subject begins to feel pain from the sensations, 2 enters its final stage. Over a period of 20 to 180 minutes, an instance of 2 will force its way out of the wound, apparently propelled by peristalsis. 2 is the collective designation for the human beings created or produced by 2. Instances vary in size, apparent physical age, gender, ethnicity, and other physical differentiators. The instance is typically covered in a thin membrane similar to an amnion and a clear fluid. Typically, an instance of 2 will be unconscious and immobile, but alive during the process of Effect 2, but certain instances will emerge fully conscious and physically attempt to speed the process. After emerging from the wound, such instances will fall unconscious. This process significantly widens the wound and causes extreme pain to the subject. Instances of 2 will show anomalous levels of flexibility during this process, being able to pass through wounds which should not be able to accommodate their size. Effect 2 is universally fatal to the subject. If the subject survives the massive trauma caused by the process, they will quickly lapse into unconsciousness, followed by death. 2 instances are anatomically and genetically identical to normal humans. Each instance of 2 is genetically identical to, claims to be, and shares identical memories to a deceased person familiar with the subject who has died within the past 30 years for reasons other than old age. If a wound is made using 1509 on a subject who has committed murder, manslaughter, or has similarly been responsible for the death of a human being, the instance of 2 produced is typically one of their victims. No instance of 2 will be able to recall anything following their death and prior to their gaining consciousness following expulsion from the wound. Addendum: SCP-1509 was recovered from the personal collection of antiquities collector somebody who had apparently collected it from an archaeological excavation somewhere in Indonesia. Based on information he provided and independent investigations undertaken by the Foundation, it is believed that SCP-1509 was used as a punishment for murderers by an unknown society living in pre-Islamic Indonesia. Strict rules existed as to the correct implementation of 1509, restricting its use to criminals and elderly or extremely sick volunteers. The society which made use of 1509 appears to have had a strong association between ants, cockatoos, and the concept of death and rebirth. And this does not seem to be connected to any other entries, and also was last edited in 2019. So that's probably all we're going to get from this particular entry, unless they decide to change it. But that's going to do it for this episode. If you liked it, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you want to click the bell, you can do that as well, so that you're notified of future uploads. And I guess the 1500s are just going to be the Keter section. Unless that's all the Keters we're going to get. I guess we'll find out later. So I'll see y'all then.